Welcome back, everyone. In video 5-3, we're going to talk about three-dimensional models. We've already discussed axonometric views, and we've already discussed oblique views. Now, in the axonometric family of views is the most commonly used pictorial view found on technical drawings, and the oblique family is the easiest to draw, but if you remember, it's the least realistic, so you won't find it as commonly as you find axonometrics. And as we've already said, perspectives give you the most realistic view. However, nobody uses them anymore, so we're just going to get rid of that. Now let's talk about three-dimensional models. I have one set up here for us to look at. And the main thing I want to show you with this three-dimensional model is how quickly you can view any angle. I could literally create a view of this model from any angle there is. It's actually an infinite number of angles. And I can do this. Notice I'm not having to redraw anything. I'm not having to create lines. Nothing like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come over here to the side, and I'm going to draw an isometric view of a cube. And I'm going to do so, and this is going to be a cube that's 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. Now, a cube is about the simplest thing that you can draw in technical drawing. And you can see I can create this pretty quickly. However, it still takes time. Now, that's an isometric view. And by isometric, the angles between all three of the axonometric axes are equal. Now, that was time-consuming for something as simple as a cube. However, if I look up here, I've already got three-dimensional models that I've rotated. And these are all trimetric views, meaning that all the angles between the axonometric axes are uneven. These are very complicated to draw, especially for a part that has as much detail as this one. However, I've talked a lot about three-dimensional models, and I've talked about the ability to extract two-dimensional views from three-dimensional models, and that's something I want to demonstrate right now. What I'm going to do is create a 2D drawing of these three parts, and I want to show you how quickly it can be done using CAD software. And there you go. There's my three trimetric views. And you see all these lines that we would have had to have drawn manually using CAD software. We can just automatically create these views. However, I do want to show you the difference with the three-dimensional models that we've looked at. We can rotate around them and view them from any angle. However, what makes these pictorial views so much less valuable is that once you draw one, and let's say I go to rotate, see what happens? We get distortion. These are really just two-dimensional views. They're not three-dimensional objects. They only represent a three-dimensional object. Okay, everyone, that concludes video 5-3, and it also concludes module 5. Thanks for watching.